Academy of Art University's K-Art News is next. Coming up, why a problem with the cable cars is causing a traffic shutdown.
Plus, some footage you won't believe. A great white shark attack right here in the bay.
Why a popular soft drink company is creating a controversy within the Latino community.
And the hottest new DVDs coming out for all of your collection. All that and more next on K-Art News.
Hi there, thanks for watching Academy of Art University's K-Art News. I'm James O'Malley.
And I'm Kana Field. Here's what we're working on. Heavy traffic in downtown San Francisco is beginning to take a toll on more than just the common commuter. Cable cars are beginning to see the effect of the constant stop and go through Powell Street, stripping the wires that pull the cars along. These conditions are making cable car accidents more likely. Muni is trying to fix the issue by banning cars, taxis, and delivery trucks from driving on Lower Powell Street. Cable cars conductor Mike Jones explains.
Stop, go, stop, go, stop, go. And contend with all the automobiles out there. The people, the traffic, the bicycles, motorcycles, the delivery trucks, all that stuff. We have to deal with that. Sometimes traffic. So anything to give us the right of way so we can get up the street is, to me, is better for us. That's a lot less wear on the cable.
Here's something you don't see every day. Visitors to Alcatraz were treated to a front row seat as a great white shark attacked a seal. One young boy who was clearly excited by the event can be heard humming the theme from Jaws before yelling out that it was the best thing he'd ever seen in his life. David McGuire, director of the San Francisco-based conservation group Shark Stewards, said this was the first time he'd seen sharks feeding in the bay. Although shark sightings in the Bay Area are not rare, there are no records of attacks on humans. In the Gulf of California, an unusual type of counting is going on. Fewer than 100 porpoises remain. The small species of dolphin have been nearly wiped out largely as a result of illegal fishing. A marine expert warns that the species could become extinct, and this could be the last chance to save this type of porpoise. One of the most popular tourist attractions in San Francisco at Fisherman's Wharf might not be an attraction in a couple of years, unless the community does something about it. Tyler Sabino has more on the story.
San Francisco is one of the most visited cities in the world due to its intriguing tourist attractions. The San Francisco sea lions at the Fisherman's Wharf are one of the most popular reasons. Unfortunately, they are dying at a high rate, and the community as well as tourists can help. Plastic debris in the ocean is the most dangerous threat to sea lions. They become entangled in plastic straps, and the result is often fatal. If you reduce your use of disposable plastics and recycle everything you can, you'll be helping the sea lions significantly. Here's what Sea Lion Center member Brandon has to say about it.
Reducing plastics that you throw away, recycling properly, and just helping out. If you guys see a sea lion that has been entrapped by anything, just call the Marine Mammal Center in Sausalito.
Plastics make up 90% of the debris floating in the ocean. Here at the Sea Lion Center, they're doing everything they can to make the initiative to make sure the community is aware of what they can do to help these sea lions. And just by doing 3 simple things, we can improve the lives of these sea lions significantly. Number 1, reduce wrapping waste. 2, repurpose things like calendars, catalogs, and other paper for wrapping. And 3, greener gadget giving. Know your e-waste and take it to a recycling location. Choose rechargeable batteries for toys, for example. I'm Tyler Sabino with Academy of Art University's K-Art News.
If you'd like more information, you can visit sealioncenter.org.
And it will soon be against the law to use redskins as a mascot in public schools in California. That's the action that the governor took this weekend, signing another bill. The term has caused controversy in the recent years because of its derogatory nature. The law also requires the state to provide funding to help change the uniform of the mascots. There's movement to stop feeding livestock in California antibiotics on a routine basis. Over the weekend, Governor Jerry Brown signed a bill that would limit antibiotic use for cattle and other livestock. The Centers for Disease and Control supports the law. It takes effect in 2018.
A Hispanic Heritage Month campaign has gone all too wrong, causing controversy in the community. Tiffany Russell with the details on Hispandering.
The #1 selling soft drink is being criticized for Hispandering. Coca-Cola recently came out with a campaign to celebrate the upcoming Hispanic Heritage Month, only to be met with hate and backlash. Mystic, a local activist, talks about Coca-Cola's new campaign.
I'm personally really offended by this. What Coca-Cola is doing during Hispanic Heritage Month, I think is really rude.
The new Coca-Cola cans feature Hispanic family names to celebrate this month, but the controversy rose when the company released a video advertising the new cans.
I think they're just exploiting the Hispanic community.
The new Coca-Cola cans in the advertisement came with temporary tattoos of the names of Hispanic families for a fun kick. But when an actor applied the tattoo to his neck, the company got a kick instead. Rachel, a Latina student living in San Francisco, talks about why these tattoos cause so much controversy.
What I know of, neck tattoos have some kind of meaning in certain Hispanic cultures for different gang-related activity.
Hispanic Heritage Month goes from September to October 15th this year, and with the lack of support in this campaign, Coca-Cola has yet to release the new cans and bottles. In San Francisco, I'm Tiffany Russell for Academy of Arts, K-Art News.
The company has a link for customers to put any custom Hispanic last name on a can for a price of $5. Governor Jerry Brown is making it illegal to carry concealed weapons on school grounds in the wake of the school shooting in Oregon nearly 2 weeks ago. The only exception from the new law is granted to retired law enforcement officers who are authorized to carry a gun.
A number of recently deceased former NFL players have shown signs of brain trauma linked to head injuries sustained during games. Here's Brett Edmini with how schools are trying to prevent that.
Football has been known as a sport where injuries are very common. With the constant contact, players are always at risk for injuries. According to a study done by the Center for Sports Injury Research and Prevention in Indianapolis, around 1 in 30 kids aged 5 to 14 have at least one concussion per season. Sustaining these head injuries at such a young age adds a risk to problems later in life and leaves parents, especially mothers, worried seeing their child playing football.
It's always a worry when they go out and play at night or during practices, but the trainers and the coaches were giving more courses on how to recognize them, and they have better equipment now than they did before. Better helmets, the coaches actually monitor their helmets more than they have before.
Over the last few years, helmet companies have been constantly improving and researching to help keep the players safe as possible with new innovative technology. The NFL has taken several precautions to help with the problem. In 2012, they started a new program that trains high school and youth football coaches the proper ways to tackle to help prevent further injuries.
Because of the media, people know more about it, but the human body hasn't changed. The concussions have been concussions since 1,000 years ago. Now we have more tools, which helps us, but in terms of the diagnosis, we're pretty much dealing with the same way.
More and more NFL players are retiring early to help protect themselves from further damage. 24-year-old retired San Francisco 49er Chris Borland retired after playing only one season. Is the risk of severe injuries and even death worth playing a sport you love? In San Francisco, I'm Brett Adami with the Academy of Art University's K-Art News.
According to the CDC, the number of sports-related concussions has nearly doubled over the last 10 years.
This week, Twitter will be making some major job cuts to its company. This was revealed a few days after Twitter announced its new CEO, Jack Dorsey, one of the original co-founders. Some of the employees feel that the job cuts will help quicken the pace at the company. Twitter will mostly cut the engineering staff as they make up half of Twitter's 4,100 global headcount. After Kim Kardashian tweeted her intention to attend the Democratic National Convention fundraiser in San Francisco this weekend, social media went on a buzz. The event featured President Obama and Kanye West and ranged from $250 and up to $10,000. There were complaints like $100 still too much for students. While some complained, the tweet also got favorited over 3,000 times, with praises for Kardashian becoming the future First Lady. Kanye has indicated he'd like to run for president in 2020. Social media is becoming the most popular way for many people to get their news. Reporter Jacob Green explains.
The pen and paper are out of the question as smartphones and their social media apps continue to be the center point of our attention. Facebook is a top social media craze with over 1 billion people. Almost all of these users use the app on their phone to get their news. And according to Pew Research, when it comes to news about government and politics, users go to Facebook to post and respond to these topics instead of going to political sites on the web. As a student, McKaylee knows all about Facebook and its social media counterparts.
Yeah, I would say so because it's just there. It's more convenient. It's not like you have to go into a room or something where your TV is to look it up, or even with a laptop you find that problem. So it's just in your pocket most of the time, or in your purse or whatever, so it's much easier.
Facebook now replaces the address book with its quick search and easy navigation, and Twitter replaces the Post-it with its fast communication from one person to another. Harrison loves the instant accessibility to social media.
I switched to iPhone. It's just so much superior. You know, I have apps that are social media that's like instant to my accessibility, and I can throw up 4 different social media apps within a span of 30 seconds, and boom, I know what's going on. I know what's happening live, what's going on in the world, current events, and then I can also know what's going on with my friends and family, you know, and see what's going on.
Twitter is soon set to reveal its long-awaited news feature, Project Lightning, which will allow people to view videos, images, and tweets live as they happen. The Twitter universe is all about the breaking news, especially in sports, business, and internal affairs, while also covering stories in your community, weather, and traffic with up-to-date posts and responses. In San Francisco, I'm Jacob Green, reporting for Academy of Arts KART News.
According to Pew Research, out of 50 news sites, 39 get more traffic from mobile apps than from desktop computers alone, due to their fast accessibility.
The dislike button is bringing up some controversy in the Facebook community. Tiffany Russell with an opinion on the installment.
Facebook has recently come up with a dislike button, and it has brought up a lot of controversy in users. But with anything on social media comes both good and bad. I admit that liking someone's post about a tragedy that occurred is uncomfortable even when you mean to do it for support. Mark Zuckerberg, Facebook's CEO, says he added this dislike button so that a user would have the ability to express empathy. But he agrees that with users that it won't be that simple. The main concern that I have about this new feature is this bullying that comes with it. With cyberbullying being a huge factor in mental illnesses and body shaming, I think that Facebook's dislike button just heightens it. It doesn't allow for any conversation whatsoever, and I see that it can help in situations that have to do with tragedy, but what if someone were to post a picture of themselves and someone else were to dislike it? Users will automatically jump to conclusions, and that never ends up well. Facebook is continuing to push to make this dislike button permanent, but how bad will the repercussions be? What do you think? That's just my opinion.
Stanford has a new #1 major for women on campus. Stanford studies show that 214 females are now majoring in computer science, which is about 30% of the entire female student body. This is exciting for Stanford because if more women major in technological fields such as computer science, they can help get rid of stereotypes of male-only jobs such as engineering and other related professions. iPhone users may have seen notifications pop up on their screens recently telling them an update is available. If you've wondered whether You should download it now or wait. You're not alone. I went to Walnut Creek to find out more. While high-profile unveilings of new Apple gadgets such as the iPhone, iPad, and Watch tend to get most of the attention, the truth is that the company's free software updates can be just as impactful as the hardware itself. Apple released OS 9, the latest version of their mobile operating system, on the 16th of September, promising a better battery life, a smarter Siri, and an increased ability to multitask. And while all this sounds great, the question is, do people really care? And should they? Software updates are often looked at to be avoided if at all possible, and sometimes for good reason. With every update, there are countless reports of users finding their phones to be operating slower or being less responsive, as Apple engineers face the tough task of designing software that both takes advantage of the latest device's hot new features, while at the same time making sure it operates efficiently on older, less powerful devices as well. I spoke to one iPhone user who told me she tends not to download the latest updates right away.
Usually I waited like a few weeks. I want to get feedback from people to see how they think.
Paula Alba Green, another local Apple user, told us reliability is her biggest issue with the updates as well.
I guess sometimes they are buggy, depending. I feel like sometimes they need to come out with the next update. Like right now, for example, today I received the 9.02 version already, because I guess they found some bugs already in the first one. But so far, in the iOS 9, I didn't get any problems with it.
Apple doesn't release data showing how many people install the latest updates on their phone, but do say that most of the updates are focused behind the scenes on things like security and compatibility, and that users who do not update their software could be more vulnerable to various cyber threats or not having their device work with the latest apps. In Walnut Creek, I'm James O'Malley for the Academy of Art University's KART News. A new law will require a court order before police can search phone and text messages in California. Currently, law enforcement just had to ask phone companies to provide the information. It will work much as a request for a search warrant does. Governor Jerry Brown just signed the bill. It will go into effect January 1st. Thanks to a new app, people in San Francisco can now report homeless persons to the city government. Mayor Ed Lee introduced this app last week, but critics called the app a snitching app. A former homeless person accuses the city of trying to make people become police. Mayor Lee claims that the intent of the app is not to report criminal activity, but to provide better care for homeless persons who may need immediate services.
Police are still investigating the cause of a fatal accident that claimed the life of a 48-year-old male cyclist at 3 p.m. yesterday. The street was blocked over 6 hours while the body of the man and a silver mountain bike were removed. The cyclist was caught between 2 Muni buses, got stuck, and slipped beneath one of the buses, causing his death. Bids are open a week from the company to build a life-saving project. More than 14,000 people have jumped to their deaths since the Golden Gate Bridge opened in 1973. In 2013, there were 46 estimated deaths. Golden Gate officials say that they are looking to restore the inspiration of the historical landmark and prevent any future suicides. Last week, Golden Gate officials decided to look for a construction firm to build a suicide barrier. The entire project is estimated to cost $76 million, and it will take more than 3 years to complete. Major League Baseball will see chances in the 2016 season. Last week, signed a law that bans professional baseball players from chewing tobacco, snuff, and dipping tobacco on the field. The reason? Baseball players are setting a bad example for impressionable youth. This will be effective in December 1st, 2016.
Now for a look at sports in the Bay Area and here at the Academy, as well as some insight into why fantasy football leagues are in turmoil early this season, let's go to Nathan Goodall.
Thank you, James. Let's start with some good news. The San Jose Sharks are off to a great start this season. The team now has the longest active streak for winning season-opening games, with this season being the 6th straight time they've done it. Now, this year's opening win against the Los Angeles Kings ended with a score of 5-1. Joe Pavelski took over as team captain for Joe Thornton, which could be an overdue change. Pavelski keeps showing his ability to produce and bring out the best in the team when they need it the most. That is something Thornton has not been able to do in recent years. Good news for local hockey, bad news for Bay Area baseball. Both the San Francisco Giants and the Oakland A's missed the playoffs, which is kind of a letdown considering the expectations they had coming into the season. Both posted strong records last year, but this season both teams struggled with nearly every aspect, from hitting to fielding. The team should have been able to get it done, though the Giants did suffer some injuries here and there. And speaking of injuries, there have been very significant injuries in the NFL this season, specifically at skill player positions like quarterback, running back, and wide receiver. Big-name players hurt across the league. Fantasy football teams are scrambling to find backup or bench players they would normally only play when their stars are on a bye week. Well, we took a trip to downtown Pleasanton to talk with fantasy football team owners Jake Van Drumlin and Michael Degas and how injuries have affected their season.
This year, out of all my years of playing, injuries have affected my team more than anything. Oh shit! I gotta play Marcus Mariota. I gotta play a rookie quarterback this year against the Bills.
I got Drew Brees out now.
I got Des Bryant. I got Andrew Luck. Both of them
terrible.
Dead on the field.
Terrible.
But there's no way to avoid injury, right?
No.
Zero chance of avoiding an injury. You pick up a guy like Des Bryant. What do you expect?
You expect greatness.
16 games of perfection. What do you get?
Fantasy football team owners aren't the only ones fighting for a comeback. The Academy of Art University's women's volleyball team lost their 7th match at the Pac-West Conference to Dominican in San Rafael. This puts these Urban Knights at 6-9 overall and 2-5 in the Pac-West Conference. But it's not over yet. The team keeps fighting with 3 matches this week. Well, that does it for this edition of Sports. Back to you.
Thanks, Nate. Think your school schedule is tough? Try traveling 40 minutes to the closest field, followed by 9 hours of class. Greg Ivory takes us inside the life of an artist-athlete at Academy of Art University. Thanks, Greg. Tyler Sabino is with Academy of Art University basketball player Trent Stokes. Trent is the true definition of an artist-athlete, and he will be speaking about his startup, Doodle, with us.
So I'm here with Trent Stokes. How you doing, Trent?
I'm doing great.
So how long have you been at Academy for?
This will be my 3rd year.
And what is your major?
I'm an art educations major. I'm coming out here from Orlando, Florida.
Oh, okay. So there's something that I know you're really excited that you've been working on, a project you've been working on for quite some time now. Can you explain that to us?
The project's called Doodle with Us. I've been working on it for about 4 years. I started it 4 years ago at Cranes Roost Park in Altamont Springs, Florida, just trying to give my friends some exposure. They used to break dance out at Cranes Roost, and we wanted to attract some crowds. So I would take the canvas that I got from my work. I worked for Thomas Repo Graphics, Winter Park Blue Printing, and I would take canvas from there for free. I mean, they gave it to me. Okay. And I would do big murals on it. But I noticed that kids wanted to draw with me while I was out there, so I figured, why not? Yeah. So I just left my materials out there and just let them draw while my friends would dance, and we would attract really, really big crowds. And I mean, ever since then, I vowed to keep it going.
Okay, and you do events at Union Square, and where else have you done events at?
Well, I don't want to mix brands because me and Union Square, we're not really affiliated.
Right.
They do, however, graciously allow me to come out there on Saturdays and just roll out some canvas and let people come together and draw.
Definitely, and you're also an athlete here at Academy of Art University, so you kind of embrace the motto, be artist, be athlete.
Yeah, definitely.
So here are some clips of Trent that we have at Union Square, where you guys can kind of get an idea of what he does sometimes on his weekends. So what are people doing? They're drawing on your canvases here?
Yeah, so as you can see, we have like this box out, and typically I'll either spread the materials out across the ground or I'll just pull them out of my bag one by one just to engage the community and get people to mingle and just talk amongst each other. I would say it's a lost art form, being social.
And would you say that, do you benefit more from the people you believe during these events?
I think everybody benefits because we get to share inspirational quotes and just space with one another. So right. I think everybody benefits from it.
So kind of bringing the community together.
Yeah, that's the original
artistic
mission.
Form.
That's right.
Definitely. So what are your future events with Doodle with Us? And do you have any events coming up or in your goals? What do you plan on doing with Doodle with Us? Where do you want it to go?
I'm glad you asked. I'd like to, I'm starting a crowdfund this winter. I intend to have an expo at the festival pavilion. I'd like to showcase local businesses and student projects while allowing people to doodle, just to bring the community together. I'd also like to do Doodle with Us in a smaller area, not at Union Square, maybe in like a room or something like that with just students.
Definitely. Well, Trent, thank you so much for coming in today. We're glad to have you. Thank you, Trent.
Thank you, Tyler and Trent. Now let's toss it to Lara Kondrakina with news from the entertainment industry.
The fall is here, which means that the new movies are on the way, and the ones that were released for a while now already broke box office with their success. I'm talking about The Martian, but there are also the ones who failed to please the crowd, like Joe Wright's new film, Pan. The fairy tale about the boy who never grew up revealed the origin of Peter Pan last week, and it did not make a great impression. According to Renttrack.com, on the list of last weekend's top 10 movies, Pan came at third place with the revenue of $15,530,000. It certainly isn't a great start for the film, which cost almost 10 times that number to produce. About 25 years ago, Tim Burton, the mastermind behind the movies such as The Nightmare Before Christmas, Sleepy Hollow, and Sweeney Todd, the Demon Barber from Fleet Street, brought to us the story of an uncommonly gentle man. Edward Scissorhands, starring Johnny Depp as the main protagonist, is going to come out on DVD on Tuesday, October 13th. There is one more movie that's going to be released on DVD this month. The world-famous comic science fiction/comedy from 1985, Back to the Future, is coming out on October 20th to celebrate its 30th anniversary. Michael J. Fox, aka Marty McFly, talked about what makes this movie so enduring back in 2014 during London's Comic Con.
I'd say when kids who weren't alive when it opened started coming up to me saying how much they loved the movie, and I saw that it kind of ironically for a time travel movie, it had timelessness. It just it existed apart from its period. It resonated with younger audiences, and that's just I just went, wow, this is gonna be around for a long time.
Yeah.
These kids like it. My kids haven't watched it, but
Really?
I don't think so. If they haven't told me about it.
They were just watching it in secret.
They're watching it in secret.
Lastly, the new fantasy movie Jem and the Holograms is going to hit the cinemas all over US on October 23rd. The story revolves around a small-town girl who goes from being just a YouTube musician to a star who is known by the whole world. Let's check out the trailer.
You're under contract. The concert's going as planned.
All right, Dad, let's see what you're trying to tell me.
Time with family, with the ones you love most, there's nothing more valuable than that.
Even when the odds seem impossible, you need to trust the people you're closest to.
I have to fix this. Showtime synergy.
In my heart, you'll always be my gem.
That's it for now. Join us again tomorrow night.
Thanks so much, Lotta. That's it for this edition of Academy of Art University's K-Art News. For everyone here, thanks for joining us. I'm James O'Malley.
And I'm Kana Field. Have a great evening. See you back here tomorrow.